good morning, and welcome to, again, another special edition of Wake Up Nigeria from London. My name is Daddy Chris, and as usual, I'll be joined with different, and with our studio from ABUJA, they all set. I can see two wonderful ladies there, so don't worry, I'm going to introduce them. But as usual, Nigeria is burning, Nigeria is moving forward. Whatever happens, Nigeria will remain. This is what I love. Nigeria will remain because it's a blessed country. The bad ones will leave, the good ones will stay. For the future, Nigeria will succeed. That is what we believe, and that is what we preach. And today, I have these two special ladies joining me from ABUJA. They are strong, wonderful ladies, and let's say hello to them. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Aja, how are you?
Good morning from ABUJA. I hope London is fine this morning.
Yes, we are fine. It's cold, but otherwise, Daddy Chris is surviving. You know, old age is not good for Europe. You see, people are looking warm there. If you come here, you must dress like me. Anyway, it's Wake Up Nigeria, and it's a wonderful day. How is Nigeria generally? Are we doing well? The country is, are we moving in the right direction? Aja, because
Absolutely.
from what I can see, there is issue of food. Give us something to eat. We are starving. Is that the scenario?
Absolutely, Nigerian is not faring well because there is insecurity and there is also food crisis that was caused or is still being caused by insecurity. And there have been crises all over Nigerian, food demonstration from one state to another. It actually started from Mina, dovetailed into Kano, and as of yesterday, ABUJA and Ibadan have started theirs. So today we are looking forward to another state. That is where we are on food crisis in Nigeria. People are hungry, no food on the table.
And what is the government saying about this, really? Because that's our hope. The government is like our father here. We're crying to the father to give us something to eat. So what is Daddy telling us? That we have food, there is hope? What are they saying?
Daddy Chris, as we go through newspaper review this morning, we'll see a lot there, and after which we'll dovetail into the real discussion. So I start with Vanguard this morning.
Yeah.
The screaming headline in Vanguard says, Forest Crisis, 2024 budget suffers major dislocation. And there is a picture story there. The picture story shows the crisis in Ibadan yesterday, the demonstration against hunger and starvation with citizens of Ibadan carrying placards on the streets. It was massively attended if you watched it on the news.
Wow.
And there is a rider there that says Senate kicks against 17 trillion loss on tax waivers. So much tax waivers, and they are all lost to the economy.
Yes.
And there is electricity push, electricity forex crisis, inflation push, mere prices up by 80%. I think it's even above 80%. And then on top left, Edo 2024, APC youth, women take over secretariat, one staff of Central Working Committee. Yesterday, it was crisis in Edo State because the APC people said, no, the person you declared didn't win. So we are occupying the secretariat until the Central Working Committee is dislodged and dislocated.
And these are the women doing that?
Yeah, it's so much. You know, the women constitute the largest number of voters in Nigeria. That their voice being heard now is very important for democracy.
Amen.
And then on top right, Wale Edu Cardoso, that's the CBN governor, SEC management team visit Wigwe's parents. Wigwe, the chairmancy of Access Bank, who lost his life in an helicopter crash in California. And then there seems to be a cartoon there that is not really visible. What cartoon does is cartoon brings out the crisis in an economy and make a caricature of us. So that is Vanguard newspaper. Can you take the other one?
Wow.
Punch.
Okay, and
Just before go that, I don't find it interesting that the women, it's quite interesting that, anyway, SRTV is flooded with women these days. So hopefully you will speak for us. And it's quite interesting that the women in Edo State have really taken the destiny to their hands and saying, no, 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 no. But do you know more? Can we know more? Anyway, we'll talk about this more, this Edo crisis. Because the headline on one of the newspapers yesterday said Edo ended up having three candidates. Now, it's like there's a power tussle. Who are those? Who are those deciding this? What is going on in Edo State? In our dear Edo State. I know Ajaya from Edo State. What is going on in your state?
Edo State is Edo State no be Lagos.
Okay.
Edo State no be Imo.
Hmm.
But you see, build up to the primary, there were lots of mobilization, and women constitute the largest voter, like I already said.
Yes.
And those who want to contest went to buy the form, hoping that there is going to be a free and fair primaries, because that's where it starts from.
Yes.
And then they have options of secret ballot and open ballot, which is option A4. Yes. I think APC went for A4 because PDP have not had their primaries. Okay. Their primaries, they've slated it for Thursday. It was just announced yesterday. And then they brought in Hope Uzodinma from Imo State.
That's why I said, no, it's not Imo State.
So oversee that primary.
Okay.
And then those who bought form to contest, when Hope Uzodinma came to do the work of the Central Working Committee or the NEC, as the case may be, he ought to have had a meeting with everyone that contested the primaries, that wants to contest for the election, that bought the form, that has been screened, and briefing them of why he has come and the way the process will be transparent, how he's going to conduct it. That never happened. There were 8 members, or about 9 of them, who said they were not carried along, and they were not even at the venue of the primaries. But the primaries held, whether they were there or not, because whether Hope called them or not, because they are contestants, they also find their way there, know what is happening, and these days we use Android phone. Yes. And then let them record, because when they go to court, they are going to have evidence to show. So it's not just enough to sit back and say, because he didn't call us for a meeting, and then we will not go there.
Yes.
That will not work. And by the time they did that primary, they said they were disenfranchised. They carried placard, and they came to Abuja. Abuja told them, yes, this primary held, INEC monitored it. So the rule was followed. Okay. And you said you were disenfranchised, the other party said it held. So we cannot go in your favor because you are the minority. Otherwise, we'll cause crisis in the party. And then during the primaries, so much happened. They opted for option A4. That option A4, they queue behind their candidates.
Yes.
And then during counting, people recorded them and they flooded them on the internet. Those started with the responsibility of conducting committed so much flaws and rigging. And the rigging process was that when they start counting, yes, 1, 2, 3, when they get to 10, they will jump to 20.
I saw something like that.
Yeah, from 20, they will jump 21, 22, 20. Before you know, they'll jump to 40. Before you know, they've entered 70. And you look at the queue, the people on the queue, they're not even up to 30. And people recorded them and they scattered them everywhere. Those are concrete evidence to show that the primary was not free and fair. And then godfatherism is a toll on Edo State. APC said they want to take over Edo State by all means. And Adam Soshomole has his own candidate,
of course,
which he actually picked, which is not going down well with other members. Okay. So that's where they are. It is actually a stalemate, whether you like it or not, because those issues, Clem Agba, who is one of the contestants, who was the Minister of Budget and national planning also, who Adams Oshomole pulled out from Chevron, a plum job, then made him get the appointment, who informed him that he wanted to contest, and he said, go ahead. Clement Agba said, I will go to court. Likewise, others who felt that the primaries were not well conducted. That is where we are now in Edo State. Just yesterday, women took over, women, youth, and men, but the majority of them were women. They took over the secretariat and said, no going in, no going out of the Central Working Committee. Just they start and remove, they will not step into the secretariat. We are going to be sleeping and waking up from here every day.
Amazing. We're coming back to this because this is quite interesting because it's a long story. And for those of you in Edo State, it's time to do things right. Because by the time they pick candidate for us or they don't do things right, that is the candidate or the governor do not have responsibility to us. It's responsible to those that picked him. This is the right time to do this right, and we're going to do it right. The women have started well. Stay there, don't leave there because they can't do anything. Thank God it's women there now. It's not young people they're going to shoot. They won't say they are criminals. Women are not criminal. Go and shoot women. Let us see. Anyway, let's go to the next newspaper. We're coming back to this. Over to you, Josephine.
The main headlines on Punch newspaper this morning says, Labour mobilizes for protest. Tanker drivers strike triggers fuel queues. You find that story on page 2 of the Punch newspapers. And then there are other picture captions where the protests that took place yesterday in Ibadan and other parts, in Ibadan, it was also captured on the picture caption of the Punch newspapers. And the next one on top right says, Senate asks FIRS to suspend 17 trillion tax waivers. And next one says on the top left, EFCC detains ex-Kwara Governor Ahmed over alleged 10 billion fraud. And on bottom right, cement manufacturers list conditions to crash spiraling price. That story can be found on page 10 of the Punch newspapers. Lion kills OAU veterinarian worker during feeding. That story can be found on page 4. And last but not the least, 15 Niger Republic-bound food trucks intercepted in Zamfara. You find that story on page 14 of the Punch newspapers.
Anyway, it's quite interesting that anyway, I'm happy the picture is what Aja just mentioned before, the hardship story around the country. But Aja, would you want to talk to us about this Senate asking for this tax waiver? What is it? Because other Nigerians do not even understand what they mean by tax waiver and why is Senate against it?
Before I go into that,
yes,
we omitted some riders. Okay. ASO Viva, DHQ, CBN face disconnection over 47 trillion naira debts to Abuja Electricity Development Company. And then if you scroll down the Punch, there's a rider by the right which says cement manufacturers list conditions to crash the spiraling price.
I was going to talk about
very important economic indicators that you cannot ignore them. And then to your question is that you see the onset of democracy when Obasanjo started democracy, there were a lot of tax waivers for certain categories of products in order for them to boost the economy with production, create jobs, and let the price be affordable. Dangote was part of them, and is still part of them today. ABUJA joined them, and some other multinational company. But as we speak now, the essence of those waivers have been defeated because they've not conformed to the reason why those tax waivers had been given. Because they are supposed to be like helping the government to subsidize consumption for the citizens. Because wherever you go, everywhere in the world, governments must have what it is subsidizing for the citizen as a responsibility.
That's true.
Now, and these are the companies that do round tripping on Forex. Whatever they need, government gives them. Take a company like Dangote, for instance. Besides the manufacturing plants that he has in Nigeria, he has in other African countries. And he gets Forex direct from CBN on official rates.
Yes.
Do that. You know, recently, Dangote, sometime last year in October, November, said he was going to crash the price of cement.
Yes.
That effective from January 1st, X factory will be 3,005.
Yes.
Dangote never wanted it also. I'm not sure what Dangote wanted because he didn't say he was going to crash prices.
Yes.
But then, because of the forex crisis, how the dollar is rising, and the audits that is going on in CBN, we found out that the CBN can also keep giving press conferences and press releases to say there are a lot of requests for dollars that are not matched with anything. That is, they are not matched with imports, they are not matched with manufacturing, and they are uncovering them. And 2 weeks ago, he came out to say that about 30-something of them that he will not pay because they are not matched with anything.
Good.
And he also lists the companies that are involved, which for me is not right, because if you want to go to equity, you must go with clean hands. And what Nigerians deserve is the truth and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
For you to tell us, okay, these are the companies that
are behind this, yes.
That are behind it. Then media and other civil society organizations can now go and investigate them.
The EFCC is there.
Hiding them, the media will not know who they are and what they represent in the downturn of Nigerian economy. So that is where that matter is. And then EFCC, based on that, raided Dangote and ABUJA.
Good.
Raided them and recovered so much documents that they are still working on. And what they say is that they recovered so much, and once it's time, they will let Nigeria know what they recover. Which for me too is not nice, because when you leave a gap and that gap is not filled immediately, they begin to
corrupt it. Yes, they will corrupt it now. The big
track.
Yes.
To cover up their track. What a US detective agency will do is, once they raid, they give reason for raiding, they give preliminary of what they have discovered.
Exactly.
They say that investigation is ongoing. By that, you have already spilled the beans, and you let the citizens of the country now follow up on track on what you are doing. That is where we are holding EFCC accountable all the time. They always leave this gap, then influence will peddle, and at the end of the day, we may not actually see what is right about that situation. So and this is not the first time that this matter of tax waiver is going to be on the public notice. Before this administration came in under Muhammadu Buhari, SERAP, who is a frontliner in the civil society organization that is always holding the government accountable, socio-economic rights and advancement projects, they are SERAP. They always go to courts and hold government accountable. Right from Muhammadu Buhari days, they said it that all waivers should be dropped, because when you do that, certain people monopolize the markets. Broadcast equipment don't have tax, whereas they are employers of labor. If you want to give tax waivers, you call a stakeholders meeting. Those who need the tax waivers, when they say so, you find out and investigate and do a back check on the reason why they actually need it. because they shouldn't get it just for the asking. They should get it because they actually need it, because that forex is what drives the economy. So what the National Assembly keeps saying, even in the 9th Senate,
Yes.
the 7th, 8th, and 9th Senate, is that no, all tax waivers need to be dropped because they are a drain on the Nigerian economy. So let's see how those benefiting now will go back and lobby.
They will.
They have their way or not. Of course, what I know is that this economic crisis is affecting everyone, even those at the Senate who wants the tax waiver, because now they can't even go back to their community. They can't go to their states because of the insecurity and food crisis. I think if they know what is good for them and this country, they need to stamp their feet and say, enough is enough. These tax waivers must go. That is it.
In fact, Aja, God bless you. You see, and this is now the central bank has started well, but if they give a single chance, the big phone calls will come in, and the truth will never be heard. It will be surprised. You can't tell me that these big boys, they don't influence who become president of Nigeria. They must have their say. They must have put in a lot to make sure somebody become president. Now it's time for payback. You want to stop them. This is where the trouble is. And that is the trouble we have in the country. You see, now the CBN governor might novice,ly, unknowingly challenge the status quo of Baba Dangote, the richest man in Africa. You are this rich, and the last time they talk about this cement, you were mute. Even when Boy wanted to try the price of cement, you were mute. And these guys, like you rightly said, they get access to foreign exchange at the official rate. You know the difference. Sometimes they just buy it and go back to the market and make a lot of money. They don't need to do anything. Because you can buy dollar at an official rate, you just go to the black market, you are rich. You don't need to do anything. And so these people keep getting richer at the expense of Nigeria. That's why I allow Aja to analyze this. And it's quite interesting. Aja, we're coming back to this at the end of this review. These are number 2. We leave Edo, we're coming back to this very issue. It's important. Thank you.
Let us just talk about the Abuja electricity.
Okay.
Who said they are disconnecting the presidential villa? You see, what is happening with the electricity sector is that when it was privatized,
yes,
Nasser El-Rufai was appointed by Atiku Abubakar, who was the vice president then, who was the person overseeing the Bureau of Public Enterprise. That was the first position El-Rufai held in public office, where he called himself an accidental civil servant. He was the one that did the privatization. The privatization was done like business as usual, not minding the fact that electricity will drive every sector of Nigeria, that electricity will drive productivity, yes, which is the reason why the privatization was taking place, because they say government can no longer do it. Let the private sector do it to boost electricity supply. But of course, you know where we are today.
Yes.
So when they did that privatization, their cronies, relatives, friends, and businessmen were the ones they sold them to. There was no clauses to say that if you are not doing what the law says, that it will be taken away from you. So because of that, those who bought them over, they've been holding everyone to ransom. But I think the National Assembly are saying that they are going to review those laws.
Yes.
That's making these private owners hold Nigerian to ransom. But that is not even what is making news now, because they've had opportunity to do that, because some of them are stakeholders. What is making news now is that Daddy Chris, you and I are the ones subsidizing electricity for the government, and yet they go to rural communities and dislodge families who are making a living. the governments have not been paying what is due. And these things reflect in their annual budget everywhere. The question is that when they put it in their annual budget, what happened to the fund that these electricity owners are not paid what is due to them? Defense headquarters is not paying. Presidential villa is not paying. Federal Secretariat is not paying. And you ask, if they are not paying, why should I pay? Yes. Why should you pay? Why should you pay? Yes. So now, what is happening because of this dollar crisis now, that is not favoring them? They have woken up and radicalized themselves to fight back the government to say, you are owing us too much. Yes, so that we can be in business.
Yes.
Because last week, they went on jingle on a radio station to say those that are owing them should pay within 2 weeks. Otherwise, they will publish their names.
They should call us up first. They should tell us
government agencies. Now they have decided to mention their name. But of course, this is not the first time that government agencies are being accused of not paying their electricity bill. This is not the first time. But we hope by this dollar crisis we are having now, that is either they pay because they have the money, they are in the budget, or they schedule a payment plan. Because Nigeria needs electricity to be productive. We need, just imagine that we are in the studio now and the light goes off. It becomes a lack of productivity.
It's true.
So Nigeria needs electricity for it to grow. And the government needs to subsidize for citizens, for household, but for productive sector, there has to also be a measure for them to meet up because of the harsh economic environment. So that is where we are on that matter now. For me, it's very interesting. So as media, we will follow them up to know what
they're doing. You see,
how they will put the National Assembly into darkness, let them use their phones to conduct.
Exactly, because
put the presidential villa into darkness. And let us hear the sound of generator. Then Federal Secretariat and others will be plunged into darkness. But let us see whether they will have the liver to do it.
But at one time, I know that the Federal Secretariat have been plunged into darkness.
And not for long. When they do it, they can have a secretariat. On that same day, they give them back. But this time around, they are aggressive in driving and trying to collect what they say belong to them, because they've actually rendered this service, whether it is full service or skeletal, but they are entitled to it. It's like a worker entitled to his or her wages.
Exactly. I agree with them. But the question is, we keep talking about the system. The system is actually there. The Nigerian system is there. It's just that some people are more powerful than the system. Otherwise, look at this. Look at what you just analyzed now. From all these three different sectors, the electoral process is well planned. It is in place. It's just that people, stronger men, will come and change it at the detriment of all of us, and we are quiet. Thank God that this crisis, this hardship, is going to wake everybody up, because they are scared. They can't come home, like you rightly said. Those of you in the Senate, come home now. Let us see you. Come and enjoy. You are home, you're scared. You understand? And a time will come, these women, they will block, the way they were able to block the Edo, the time will come, they will go and block the homes of the senators, the home of the House of Reps, the home of the governors, and say, today. Because if you don't eat, you will not eat. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Let's go to the next newspaper. We're coming back to look at this.
Dr. Chris, before we go to the next newspaper, I actually drove in here from a filling station, because tanker driver says they are going on strike. That tomorrow they will refuse to load. They actually gave that notice last week, Thursday. And they've been series of meeting with them. And filling station owner says, we are shutting down our filling station once we don't have supply. And NLC says that They themselves are going on strike. 2 days warning strike. As we speak now, Nigeria is in chaos. Because by the time I got to that filling station this morning, the queue I saw there was like, wow. I think some people slept there or they've been there since 2 a.m. You understand? Because normally I don't queue up. I have a way to get my fuel as a media person. But today, what happened is that both the inlets and outlets were all blocked.
Oh, good.
Because if I have to I call the manager, I will go in from the outlets and take and go out. But today, you don't even have a space to get close to the filling station. So that is where we are with petrol. So we are expecting NLC, because NLC says that government has not met with them and that government is not serious with negotiation. When they were asking for 100,000 minimum wage has passed, now they are saying they are asking for ₦1 million minimum wage. Because even that ₦1 million, as forest goes up, price of commodities, school fees, rent goes up, the 1 million will not even enough. That is what they want. And they have said that since Bola Ahmed Tinubu removed fuel subsidy, he has not sat down and met with them. And that this time around, once they allow the 2 days warning strike, the next one will be total shutdown of the Nigerian economy, which I don't pray for. And I hope it will not happen. Because in fairness to NLC, they have been very, very cooperative with the federal government. 2 weeks ago, a memo leaked of the SGF approving ₦1 billion for sitting in meeting with NLC. By the time that memo leaked, signed by SGF, NLC came out to say, government have not had any meeting with us. So that's ₦1 billion they approve that the memo has leaked is for them. They don't know what government wants to use ₦1 billion for to sit with NLC. Is it to eat granuts when the meeting is going on? Is it to drink or to drink bottled water of 200 naira when the meeting is going on? So that Nigerian citizens should ask them what the ₦1 billion is for.
It's meant for.
Some TV station actually puts Joe Ajero, the president of NLC, on camera to discuss it. And he said, as NLC, we no get hand for the ₦1 billion that Nigeria for the warning strike. So that is where we are.
You think NSC will really shut down the 1 billion? Do you think so?
NLC didn't request for 1 billion.
No, but there's a 1 billion provision for them. It doesn't go to them. Huh?
No, it wasn't for them. It wasn't for them. Government made that provision because there was a committee set up by the government, Chamber of Commerce, civil society, everyone to sit on the table to do that meeting.
So it's 1 billion to sit on.
That provision is for the meeting, which NSC is just part of, and government. What Ajere is saying is that why should government, who has not been able to pay 100,000 minimum wage, say that they are approving 1 billion for people to sit on the round table, to drink water and eat granite, and discuss the business. That is fraudulent, that they are not part of it, that nobody should drag them into it. They were crystal clear on that.
Wonderful.
Which I think they are transparent enough. They don't want anything to soil their hand.
They should not.
There is a rider here that say 50 Niger Republic bound food trucks intercepted in Zamfara. Yes. You see what is happening in Nigeria that decrease is there are businessmen who are into, this African continental free trade agreements.
Yes. Allows
all the countries in Africa to trade. And before it came into place, this trading has been going on. If you go to area markets, the leather and footwear that they produce, you can't count the number of trailers that load them every day to other African countries. When Obasanjo commissioned that leather factory then, I was among the media that went with the presidency and we covered it. You see trucks loading footwear, leather, shoes, everything to other Africa. And if you visit the other African countries, you will see all this made in Abagos there. And then in the north, if you go to the north, Zamfara, Kano, Jigawa, all those states, the businessmen and women doing this business there, they are not government contractor. If they ever took loan for this business, it is between them and their bank. That is the business they know. That is the business they have been doing, including cola nuts that they eat in other African countries. They get it from Nigeria. So that business has been going on. Some inherited them from their as a family business.
Yes.
You see, what government is doing now is clamping down on them. You recall that when there was a coup in Niger, and AU said they are going to send troops there to fight, that Nigerian demonstrated and said, these are our brothers. The northern people said we have lineage with them. That that fight cannot, that they did not vote Bola Tinubu for
to go and fight their brother.
And of course, you know that that decision was taken without consultation with stakeholders, as usual. So the North rose up and they challenged it, and the status quo remained. And then Nigeria now decided to shut its border on them. And it just started having food crisis the moment what was supplied to them, they started running out. And Niger is also a transit for this food to go to other African countries. That's why other African countries look up to Nigeria as the big brother, as the giant of Africa. Because most of the food they eat, the clothes they wear, the leathers, everything comes from Nigeria. So because of this food crisis now, government is not allowing that process to go on. And this thing has been on even before I was born, which they are saying, no, you are crippling our business. You didn't give us money to
start our business, yes.
To start our business. So you cannot kill our business because the country is having food crisis. These goods that are going now, we bought them with our money. Government, you didn't give us money to trade. We are citizens, we pay our tax. So let us do our business. Because if you see the queue of trucks that are going out, because even when government shut that border, in Zamfara alone, they have over 15 to 20 routes or so where these goods eventually were transported. And if they eventually left, and even some of this one will go because people's business are being crippled. But I think the solution to this is that federal government needs to have the habit of setting up a commodity board. What a commodity board will do is to buy off food produce from farmers directly. Because when government do that, the price government is offering will allow those that are already in the business to compete favorably, because government will not monopolize the markets.
No, but Aja, is it not even time to think of now going into production? Because now we have a market, and this is foreign money coming into the country from those
countries. Into production.
Yes.
Farmers now are not farming in those areas where they have the big farms, where the chunk of the enough food produce comes out from because of insecurity. But in the periphery, farmers call up themselves and they go. They no longer go as individuals like before. But what I'm actually saying, like part of the solution, because you cannot analyze, you criticize without providing solution.
I agree.
Some of the solution is government can set up a commodity board and a price control board. They are interwoven. The commodity board that used to be there in those days of the Royal Niger Company, where people like my father worked, that government inherited that they couldn't manage, and they all folded down, is you go to the farmers, you buy from the farmers,
Yes.
and then you store them. Because when you buy, you set up that commodity board, you have employed, they will go to the farm, you work in line, in tandem with the Ministry of Agriculture.
Yes.
We go to the farm because the ministry will provide farm implements and extension workers, which will oversee those farms to make sure that the yields are good. And if the yields are having problem, you give them pesticides, manure, and you tell them how to apply them. And then when the food is the produce are ready, you have the right of the first buyer, because as government you have produced farm implements, you have produced you are giving them fertilizer, even if it's not free, at subsidized rates.
Right, yeah.
And you have sent extension workers to oversee them and train them on what to do. And once that is done, they will sell to you, you
Definitely.
will buy. In the process of packaging them to keep in silos or wherever warehouses you have adopted for the purpose, you are still an employer of labor, because you need enough hands to clean them up before you store them. And then those that are in that business too, they will follow suit, because you are not there to take them out of business. So that can work. And by so,
okay, the situation in Abuja, Aja has been talking us through, and he's been talking us through it well, and I hope you will enjoy her analysis of the day. I agree with her completely. Like I was saying, why don't we go into more production? But now that we have a huge market, but she's really saying that this is what we can do now. And I don't know whether Nigeria have a national food bank anyway, because that is what a nation must have. And I just said something, my people, that it is important that Nigeria realize that they are the big brother. In fact, I heard Professor Lumumba saying that Africa cannot succeed until Nigeria succeed. I mean, until Nigeria wakes up, because we are not going to succeed if we don't wake up. So Nigeria need to wake up. And these are the few things we need to do to wake up properly. The chances are there for us to wake up. This is the newspaper review. I am Daddy Chris from SRTV London, and my team in Abuja, you know the usual team. We'll be talking about electricity. I'm sure they have electricity problem now. That's why you see them going off and on. It won't happen in London because I am in a country where everything is organized. And these are the kind of things we're talking about. For us to succeed, we need electricity in Nigeria, and we need food. And I'm so proud of my people today to see that the women and some people are actually saying no to certain things. Like what happened in Edo State, they say no, and it should be no. You can't tell us how to do things. You can't just impose people on us. And for us, who was Ashimole? Ashimole was struggling. A good boy of those days is today a dictator. And this is how absolute power corrupts absolutely. That is what we see in Nigeria. Oshimole, of all people, the man we know, the comrade of our time. You have changed, sir. What a change. What a shame. Because in fact, I give you another 10 years, not even 10, 5 years. You'll be so weak. I'll be somewhere struggling. And is this what you're going to say to your children? That during your time, you started very well as a comrade and you ended up being a dictator after serving 8 years as a governor, even national party chairman. Well, it's up to you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what Nigeria is offering us. Look at the amount of subsidy that are going to a particular sector. You know, I am from the movie industry, and the last time I invited Nollywood to UK, I proposed a summit where we're going to ask the federal government to actually introduce some kind of tax credit or tax rebate to the film sector so they can produce more films in Nigeria, because that is an industry that is surviving. The government is paying deaf ear to that. Instead, they are subsidizing people like Dangote, who has made a lot of money, now selling us cement and robbing us. Dangote is rich enough. You are going to be quiet and allow this to continue. For how long? It's up to us. Listen, I'm going to go on a quick break. Give me some time to see if my people will join me. If not, then I'm going to go on with the show as usual. But I'm going to go on a quick break. Don't go away. Stay right there. Daddy Chris is here. It's Wake Up Nigeria.
Are you tired of endless search for the perfect property? Look no further. Let SRTV Real Estate be your trusted partner in the journey to finding your dream home.
We can offer you a dream home in a serene environment and beautiful ambience, surrounded with modern nature. That's definitely what you crave for. Well, you asked for it, and here we have it. Why not live the best of your dreams by making do with time, space, and value? The smartest form of real estate investment is that which is done at the initial public offer.
Join the long list of satisfied clients who have chosen SRTV Real Estate for all their property needs. We pride ourselves in turning your dreams into homes.
Act today. Secure your slice of a palace, even on a flexible payment plan, and embark on a journey towards a brighter tomorrow. Your dream is valid, living in a place of fabulous wealth and great opportunities. Don't compromise the standards of living. Explore the world of vast opportunities by investing in SRTV Real Estate today. Superb location, habitable, accessible, attractive, and a secret to every smart investor. For your real estate, SRTV is trusted and reliable.
Contact us today with the number on the screen or
email us at realestate@superiorradioandtelevision.com.
Yes, people, what are you waiting for? SRTV got you covered. You know, I'm excited about what SRTV offering this year, from the real estate to the logistics and all that. And don't forget, all our package of TV reality show, the Nigerian Week is coming. That is when we bring all Nigerians to the UK to come and celebrate a week, and where we showcase our products and services. This include entertainment and businesses. We'll come to that as we get into the year proper. But right there this morning is Wake Up Nigeria. And I was still going through the newspaper review, but unfortunately, my team in Abuja just have a little bit of issue. So I'm going to go through some of the things myself. I won't be able to end today without looking at the situation with the Guardian. The federal government grants 4 trillion tax credit in 5 years as inflation threatens schemes. And these are the things we're talking about. You know, hopefully Abuja will join me, and it will be better if I have Abuja on my side. Yes, Abuja, you're welcome.
Hello, London.
You see, this is what we're talking about. Electricity, right?
Electricity.
This is what we're saying. You know, you see, but London had you covered. No, I had it waiting for you. You're welcome back. This is what you see. It's quite interesting that we have this kind of things on record for our children to see what we went through in our time. This thing will come and go, so that when they inherit all these things and inherit a better Nigeria, they hopefully do better with it. Because if they see what we went through and we survived and we managed to now provide electricity for them and they have some good future, they'll be thanking us. So let us not be crying. Let us do something. I think everybody now should be thinking, what do we do to salvage? How do we save Nigeria from where we are? If the truth is, Nigeria is all right. It's just some few people that need to go. And we're going to fish them out. We're going to get them out. Look at the system. The system is set. It's prepared to go. Ugozima came all the way from Imo State. Hey, they are telling you, Edo is not Imo. Baba Tinubu, Edo is not Imo. I know my people. They're going to say no when it's time to say no. But let me go back to Abuja again. Here we are. Let's finish what we're saying, man.
Okay, what we're saying is that I was trying to proffer solutions.
Yes.
Because, of course, you know that you review, you analyze, you criticize, and then you proffer solutions. Because Nigeria belongs to all of us.
Yes,
if Nigeria is up, we are up. If Nigeria is down, we are crying like we're doing right now.
Yes.
So I have analyzed how the government can be part of it for Nigeria to feed. So let's continue with daily trusts now.
Okay.
The headline says food prices drop in Kano, Taraba, Kwara, and Niger. And the government goes after hoarders because of that food crisis drop. Feed the companies suspend mop up, hunger protest spread to Ibadan. And then on the top left, you have airfare to rise further as Jet A1 hits 1,530. Jet A1 is the aviation fuel.
Yeah.
Then at the top middle, the red rider there say Lions kill. Okay, no, that was for Punch. Fuel queue in Abuja, Lagos. Federal government NATO meeting deadlock.
Yes, your experience this morning.
Yes, deadlock. Then on the top right, Dangote, Bua, Lafarge pegs cement price at 8,000.
Hold it there. Aja, let's hold it there. Now, this is quite interesting. In fact, what moral ground or what justification does Dangote and Boa, I assume they are one of those who have access to our foreign money. These are locally made products. Why is the price of cement going up in line with the foreign exchange? What has it got to do with that?
Okay, let me tell you what it has to do with that.
Okay.
Because of the importation of the crushers they have. Because I have been part of taking a guided tour when the Dangote was to open at Okpela, my state.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's Okpela cement factory there. And when Dangote was to open, we took a guided tour. They have a lot of machineries that are imported from either Germany, Russia, also, and a few of the finishing from India.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where Forex comes in. And then you know that the cement factory is not a crowded investment haven for Nigeria. Mm-hmm. The companies there are very few. I'm even surprised they mentioned Lafarge now, because Lafarge, the one of their personnel that came from abroad was the person that brought COVID into Nigeria, then in Lagos. That was when COVID started. And since that time, we've not even heard of Lafarge. What happened is that government held a meeting with them. The meeting has been on since last week to tell them that prices must go down. So it's in the course of the meeting that they now arrive. Because of course you know that after raiding their factories, the CBN, the EFCC, the DSS, the NIA, now they have documents to show. You know, before it is like speculation that will say doing this, Boa is doing this.
Yes.
But for raiding them, they now have tons of documents of how things were manipulated. So they call them to the table and say, we will not allow this price to be going up. You owe Nigerian as a country because you have tax waiver and you have monopolized the market, and that you owe Nigeria a duty to make sure that you assist government for Nigeria to own their homes.
Yes.
So the meeting didn't go into any deadlock because government held them and now they have agreed that the price of cement has to go down. And then the price of cement at 8,000. Dangote is from Kano.
Yes.
Kano is the second largest city in Nigeria with over 10 million population or so.
Yes.
How can citizens of Kano State, where Dangote comes out from, buy a bag of cement for 8,000?
Is this 8,000? Is it even obtainable now? Because it's allowed.
The statement didn't say when it will start, but I think within them, they must have agreed on when it will start. They must have agreed on when it will start. But what the media will need to go further now is to find out when it will start. But you recall that last week, the Ministry of Agriculture and the Minister of Women Affairs, Minister of Information, and the Minister of Agriculture, I think they held a press conference to say that government was going to release grains into the markets so that the food price can drop, which they did in some states like Kano and others. So that is why that headline is reporting this morning that foodstuff has actually crashed in Kano. But the media needs to now take it upon themselves
to find out,
to visit those markets, to report back to say the price of 1 mudu of grain was 1,005.
yes,
Now it has become this and that, for everyone to be on the same page with it.
Amazing.
So because what BOA did yesterday was to issue a press statement to the media to say that he has increased the salaries of his staff, whether you are full staff, whether you are an ad hoc staff, or you are a contract staff, so by 50% due to the economic crisis. And that they are doing it in sympathy with their workers so that they can feed well and do whatever. ABUJA staff's not going to build houses. So the price of the cement to go down, so that whatever 50% BOA has added to their salary, they can buy cement, because they work there does not mean that they'll get the cement free. Their families, their relatives, so that they can own their own houses, because shelter is very important to every citizen anywhere in the world.
Aja, you see, when I see Nigeria, I see opportunities, and that is the funniest thing about me.
So much opportunity.
I see Nigeria, I see opportunity. You just analyze that the BOA cement, when you visited, there's some machineries which they're bringing in from Germany. They bring some from maybe India for the manufacturing. You understand? Now, what is it? What is so special in those machines that our Nigerian university cannot produce? And this is where we lost it. You understand? There's nothing the Nigerian university cannot produce if we make it because this is a direct market for them. So do we even have people? You see, industry must be influencing what universities are doing. There must be institutions must be working in line with schools so that they can be producing people who will be useful to these industries. And one of them is manufacturing things like this. How can we continue to bring from Germany? The next day we go to Germany. The next day we go to Germany. Now China will take it over.
Daddy Chris, you see, a country that does not have power, there is a limited ability in that country.
Yes, you just
not that Nigerians as citizens are not multi-talented. I say it everywhere and anytime that a child born in Nigeria and of the African origin is born multi-talented, and as they are growing, they improve on that talent. But the environment is very difficult to strive with that talent. There is a government agency that is in charge of that, and I think they are called NISA, Nigerian something Nigerian whatever, who are saddled with that responsibility, and they are under the Ministry of Science and Technology. Wonderful. And then there's the Raw Material Research and Development Corporation that is based in ABUJA here. Ask me, if they are based in ABUJA as a regulator, where are their branches in all the 36
states?
And FCT. Because they wake up in the morning, dress up, civil servant, go to the office. But when they hold exhibition, you see things that have been invented. But where is the capacity of the multiplier effects? That is, to roll them out
so that
manufacturing
can take place.
To use in Nigerian and to export. That is where this power, this light, that is where it comes in. It is not there for these things to be manufactured and roll out in bulk for Nigerians to use. It's not there. They can make the prototype, they will just exhibit them there. Each year they call us, we go, they have seminars around them, calling for investors. When those investors come, you give them tax waivers, you give them official forex, they do round tripping, they will still go and import those tools from other countries. You see, if you go to quarries where they do this, it is not the ordinary quarries where they blast rock and they bring out gravel for building. Those tools are different. The tools for the cement manufacturing product line, they are different tools. They are heavy duty tools.
Yes.
Machines that are not manufactured in Nigeria. That if they have to be afloat, they must import them. And you know, the implication is that when you import them, there are parts to repair them when they are bad.
What about the maintenance? What about the human resources?
And then you bring in expatriates to do them, except there is an MOU with those companies to say, we will come and train your engineers.
No, it is up to us. This is where that body.
No, they do. They do. But of course, you know that training needs development. If they did that to train those staffs needs to be developed, because manufacturers over there are not sleeping. They keep researching, they keep upgrading. Yes. If you look at the machines they started with, for now, some of those machines are no more modern.
Yes.
But if you go to other countries, some of those machines, they will not use them. But because of what and who we are in Nigeria,
we remain the same place.
Them. Because if they go and import the most modern machines, we will not be able to afford those cements at the end of the day.
You see, so this is the opportunity I'm talking about.
And then, Daddy Chris, and then those technicians that will be servicing them when the warranty expires, they need to send them for trainings and development abroad. Because it will be cheaper to do that than flying those expatriates down after the warranty has expired.
See, my pain is this. Yeah, I hear you. My pain is this. If there's a machine, machines are physical products, which you can mold, you can technology. That is not the technology, because the technology is not this machine. The machine is not the technology. The technology is so simple. The machine is the physical product that we can imitate, immediately copy and begin to make our own. There is no reason why we will continue to import one product in years, in fact, centuries upon centuries. And that is where the Nigerian system, this is where I see opportunities. I'm saying that if the Nigerian government really want to get us out of this dollar rising, one of the things we need to do is to start thinking of how to get our young people who are so active, they are now idle, to start to work in this direction. Young man, if you can make a machine that can help to manufacture cement, you just go and look at it, copy it, and let young people begin to invent something better than that one locally. Do you know now that we are now, okay, let's take a look at this way. Nigerians, out of necessity, are now refining fuel on their own. Go to the creek. That's what they're doing. I don't know how they're doing it, but they were able to, if we cannot get the big machine, if we cannot go into that, we're going to do it on our own. But that's what you get. The technology is simple. It must not be that big machine. We can do something, and before you know it, we begin to have local made that can do the same thing. And what you see now, manufacturing cement in Nigeria is only done by these big companies who are now being subsidized. What is in cement that we cannot manufacture as a people?
Daddy Chris,
yes.
You know, when you analyze these things, some of them I just laugh because,
and I like to think like a layman, you know.
Well, of course, you see that Nigerians are inventing. The emphasis is on power. It's only power that requires them to run them out. The power is not there. You see, my slogan that I keep saying when I go for public analysis and when I speak at public forum is that Nigeria will not develop without power. No nation develops without power.
It's not going to happen. We are in darkness. Yes.
So until Nigeria have a measurable, say like 10,000 megawatts, the production can start.
All right. Let's go. Listen, don't even start again. Power. We say power, and power is showing us power. You see, this is what we say. anytime we talk about power, it is power. Power, it is power. Now power is telling us their power again because Nigeria cannot afford. Even this is NTA. We are sharing the same premises with NTA Abuja. That's where SRTV is. So if we don't have electricity, meaning NTA don't have electricity. That is how bad it is. What a country, like she rightly said, how can we survive without electricity? That is something we really need to. And I think subsequent government have been trying. I don't really know what the problem is. Because I know government is interested. If we keep blaming the guys in the House of Rep, I think they've done their part. They've tried. You see, now they're trying to say, no, we're going to cover these loopholes. Let this money be here. We're going to cover this loophole. I don't know whether we've been caused, because you can see that we are here and our solution is not there. It's here. It's so close to us, but we're not doing it. It's like we wake up in the morning and we're crying over something that we can do. And the funniest thing is we're going to call on God to come and do it for us. God has already done it for us by telling us, you see, if God has shown us how to do it, by showing us, now, please read your Bible or read your Quran. There's no time God come and do things for you. God will show you how to do it by actually bringing somebody that will help you. There's no time. I read the Bible again and again. I never see the children of Israel were in Egypt. Nobody went. It was not God that brought them from Egypt. God told them to leave Egypt. And he sent Moses. It was Moses. It was their physical effort too. Even when God sent Moses, it was the children of Israel that fought. They were the ones that walked out of Egypt. God was not going to move them out of Egypt. God does not move them and put you there. No. And this new miracle they're preaching for you is what is getting me confused. Now, the solution of Nigeria is in our palm. Like we rightly said, what is really so hard in us manufacturing things? Look at the opportunities now. We found out that there is agricultural produce or even leather shoes can be sold in Africa. Big market. You see, if you tap on African market alone, that is 4 billion. I don't think Nigeria should close the borders. Goods should move within Africa. And I am still of the belief that we should be having one single currency called the Afro. I think it's because this Naira rubbish, at the end of the day, we don't hear the different, we don't only hear you hear of Naira. If you go to Ghana, you hear of Ghana cedis. You go to another one, it's safer. Do we need all this? Let's have one currency. Because the reason we have a single currency will save us. I remember when I was in Slovenia and they had a country, their money there was Slovenian dollars. German Deutschmark. All of them, none of them could even think of measuring with the US dollars. Today they came up with euro. Together they have euro. Euro is higher than the dollar now. Euro is going to take over pounds soon. That is the power of coming together. Africa is not thinking along that line. They're not thinking of coming together. They're only going to come together to go and like what the federal government of Nigeria is doing now. They're going to put in some big money to sit down and talk. And instead of doing the main thing. And I pray that Nigeria or the Africa of my time, that something good comes out of this. Because the opportunities are just too much. And I'm going to just quickly go through the last newspaper and then maybe wrap up the show. Like you see what the Vanguard is saying. You know, Vanguard has been the best you can think of. I'm just going to play it. I'm not the type that will read everything because we've talked about you see, that's what I like Guardian. They won't go into all the things they're saying. They're going to look at it more critically and more intelligently. But I don't know what Governor Zulum is my man. He sacked the IDP camp boss for wash facilities diversion. I can't wait to see what that is because that would be an interesting thing to follow. And protests over hardship, of course, spread to Oyo State. Of course, 26 million Nigerians gamble with hunger. That is the truth. The situation in the country is serious, and we need to get it right. But I just want to see what these headlines here, this on the other side. Say EFCC grills Kwara ex-governor for alleged financial impropriety. You see, this is the thing. Again, in these difficult times, some people are still playing with a lot of money. Money they don't need, money they're not going to use in their lifetime. What a shame. I think I'll soon have Abuja back, and we're going to quickly review. If Abuja comes back now, they're back. I'm going to get
Abuja is back.
Yes, good. So let us quickly look at Vanguard, Guardian together. I think Josephine, Josephine, run us through Guardian, and then we'll look at sport and wrap up the show for today. Josephine.
The power crisis.
And the
Tribune.
Have we done Tribune at all?
No, we've not done Tribune.
Tribune, the next is Tribune.
Okay. Wow. All right, Tribune.
Josephine, can you quickly do that?
Yes, and the main headline on Tribune says manufacturers agree with federal government to slash price of cement. And the writer there says companies list conditions say product won't sell more than 8,000 naira. You find that story on page 8. And the next story at the top left, when you scroll up, says experts differ as food inflation increased by 40% in 8 months under Tinubu. And in the middle, it says unemployed.
Okay. Now, the challenges of electricity in Abuja, in Nigeria, is playing and playing and playing. We're going to go and look for a generator and put it there inside NTA. You know, so, and like she really said, how can a country that is in darkness survive? But I'm going to quickly help this young lady. APC, those things, you see, the unemployment rate in Nigeria, the rate in Nigeria rose to 5%. That is not unexpected. Well, APC Edo gubernatorial primaries, they declared, another aspirant stormed party secretariat demand for certificate of return. Do you hear that? The drama in Edo State is going to continue, man. And this is what Tinubu could do to Edo State. Is it okay? Well, not Tinubu. This is what APC could do to Edo State, because it's like the presidency must have their own hand there. And then I know Yamu, one of the foremost candidates, withdrew. I don't know why. And now these guys are not even serious. They're not serious. But what I'm happy about is the women and the people not saying no. Edo State, please keep saying no. Now let's look at the headlines here. When you go down, this is residents in Ibadan protest over economic hardship. That's what we see every day. And I like Ibadan people. For once, you're doing this. And this is what I said yesterday on the show, and I'm going to repeat it, people. There is no Yoruba man in hunger. There is no Igbo man in hunger. There's no Hausa man in hunger. No Yoruba man in hunger. Hunger is hunger. So when you tell me that, oh, he's a Yoruba man, he's an Igbo man, he's a Muslim, he's a Christian, I tell you rubbish. There are only two kinds of people in Nigeria, the rich and the poor, and they speak different languages. What the rich people are talking about, the poor people are talking about something different. So don't bring in your Islam, your Christianity, your religion into this issue. Keep it at home. God loves us all. God, we serve God, we love God, but do it at home. Come out and do the needful for the society. Because God is going to support everybody. Sometimes you guys are funny. We want to play a football match. You're telling God to help you to win the other person. Everybody are children of God. God will leave you children. You are my children. It's like I have 2 kids. You think I'm going to support one to kill the other one? No, I'm going to give you hands. Do it. Who is successful is successful. I welcome both of you. That is the kind of party we have in Nigeria. The Nigerian man, get it right. God is not going to kill Muslims for you. God is not going to kill Christians for you. You're all children of God. The problem we have is truth. The truth is on poverty. The gap between the rich and the poor is unacceptable. The rich man is not thinking straight. The poor man is down. So at the end of the day, the rich man have no peace because you can't enjoy that money. Go home now, come out on the street, or let us see your children. They will devour them because of what? The society that is not ready to welcome your riches. If we are clever, we can do the needful. We all can come together and do it right by creating a society where the rich give a little bit more back so that the poor can be carried along. When you do that, the poor become more productive, and the rich can then get richer. But by the time you just leave people there, they're going to come back and fight you. That's what you see now. Now, you see, something is going on in the country. People have been protesting. They've been protesting for one thing: good election. All we have seen so far is election, leaders, good leaders. By the time people come on the street to protest between the gap between the rich and the poor, which is what I am interested in, you will see what I'm saying. And it's coming soon. This kind of hardship is what's going to catalyze it. Because if people have nothing to eat, they will come out. And when they come out, they're not going to be friendly. What you've been seeing, what Nigeria has been seeing is too friendly. This kind of protest now on the streets of people saying it's too hard, it's too difficult, is something that we cannot keep. We cannot, if you can't stand it. And I don't know when they say Nigeria is all right. Nigeria is not all right. And there's nothing, like I keep saying, I say it again and again, we have enough in the country. If I tell you that only a few people, like Dangote, if Dangote used to do the right thing, a portion of the money we're going to borrow is there with him. And yet the whole country will go and borrow money, but Dangote have enough. In fact, the one you borrow, Dangote is taking it as tax credit to manufacture cement, which we cannot afford. Those money should have gone into manufacturing of, you see, like I said, look at the massive production of movies in the country. If we put in some subsidies there, the guys will continue to make more movies and will make more money, more foreign money. Because do you know how many places they watch Nigerian movies? The world is now a global image. Go to YouTube, you see the dominance of Nigerian movies. Don't talk about Nigerian music. Young people have talent, they want to use it. That is what fashion, for God's sake. It's one area that if we look at it carefully, but this morning now, ABUJA told us, educated us on the kind of product, farm produce, they produce in the north, even in Abadi shoes, the leather shoes that can go around the nation. How much subsidies do the government get? Instead, we are stopping them from doing just for selling goods outside the country. It's African nature your problem. This is not the issue. You see, African nature are your best friend. They are your market. It's an opportunity to have 4 billion people in a continent. And we're not using them. We're not selling. We're not producing to sell. Nigerians should look beyond Nigeria. We are big. We are big brother. We can produce things and sell to the whole of Africa. And we will continue to grow. And today is going to be one of those days. Hopefully by tomorrow, we'll try and solve this electricity challenge in Abuja, because I know these ladies, they are good. They want to do well. And I'm going to try and go on another quick break. If I don't have my way, I will just quickly look at the spot and then we'll move on. We'll close the show for today. Don't go away. Stay right there.
SRTV Logistics is here. Are you into a restaurant business? We are here to help you move your goods from one place to another. If you're moving your goods out of the country or within the country, you can come to us. Trust us to handle your deliveries with the utmost care and professionalism, ensuring your items reach their destination safely and on time. Don't settle for anything less. We're part of the global supply chain of helping goods to move from one point of origin to the point of consumption according to the needs of customers. You can contact us with the numbers on the screen or email us at logistic@superiorradioandtelevision.com.
All right. You're welcome, people. That is newspaper review for you today. Before I quickly round up, let's take a look at what the sport boys are saying. What is going on there? All right. It is always as usual. Anytime I see you, I always smile because I can see energy. I can see the potential. Like I always say, I asked yesterday, I still gonna go back to the confab. I know it's not what is on the headline today. I always gonna ask Nigeria. Now that we've gone through that, we've done well. In fact, to come out as the number 2 for this competition, it's a good thing. The boys, they've tried. They came back home with something great. But how are we building on it? Why is it that we cannot think of how we can make sports another avenue for foreign exchange? Locally, it is a great asset. Because now we have young people who can actually, let's look at football alone. I don't want to look at other sports. Imagine in those days we have the Bedell Ijoran, the Enugu Rangers, we have and I know now we have the Oyemba and all of them, but this lack of government attention and the right investment is not in place. But this is the big opportunity we're missing. Imagine only Osimhen, the amount of money Osimhen alone is bringing into Nigeria. Him alone is an asset. It's a foreign exchange for us. And imagine if we had trained footballers, if Nigeria now create an enabling ground for football to prosper, meaning we will have a strong league where the foreign players, foreign coach can come and pick one or two to help their teams. In the process, we are exporting talent, and we'll get foreign exchange for that. Just in case you miss the news, we in the diaspora, we contributing more than 25% of the Nigerian GDP. Imagine if we are tapped into sport. Think of how much, if it's people like us who just run to Europe and now bringing so much resources home, think about how much we will bring home if we have footballers in numbers. The only reason Nigeria is trying to cry that, oh, how could we lose to Ivory Coast? Is because we are big. We think we are bigger than Ivory Coast, but it was 11 men on the pitch. What we should be thinking of is how do we take advantage of the millions of talent footballers, young people we have, who go out and make money for us. Locally, there should be a local league. Like I said, people go to church on Sunday, Saturday, we go to football pitch to watch football. It's our religion. So if we do it well, a country like Nigeria will be making a lot from sports. And that is one area that I think the federal government should look into deeply. Again, when you look of all this, you find out what we have. Nigeria is a gold. It's a fresh woman that just needs to be. You don't need to touch her a little and she start making you babies. She's fresh. She's fertile. The question is, do we know what to do with it? Do we know how to use Nigeria? Because Nigeria is there for us Nigeria want to help us. The problem is not the big size of Nigeria. It is even a blessing. Even it's not the divided Nigeria, because we talk of the north, the south, the east. That is a blessing. It's nice to have to come from a country where people understand God from different angles. But all the same, we are saying God. The Muslims are talking God, they understand God from the way Muhammad said it, and the Christians are saying it from the way Jesus Christ said it. Others are saying it the other way. It's a blessing, actually. It makes us rich in terms of our diversity. We're diverse, we're unique. People have, in fact, it will even bring in tourists. You can visit the northern part where you see how the Muslims live beautiful life, and you come to the southern side where people live as Christians. It's a blessing. Is it the Yoruba that is not rich in culture? Is it the Igbos? Is it the Benin, or is it the Hausa that are not rich? Even within the Fulanis, these are opportunities that should be tapped on. No, they're not our problem. Our problem is lack of initiative to actually say, let us make this work for us. Like I asked ABUJA, how can we start? Create a cement factory. We import the machines. The machines are now at home. Now, the machines, we don't even have the people who are now imitating the machines so they can produce something similar. What a shame. It's not as if they're still there now. In those days, they have to go there and steal the technology. The technology is at home. That's not even the technology. The machines are there. The machine is something you replicate. That's not the technology. The technology of manufacturing cement must be different. That's how do you convert this to this, and it becomes cement. And these are the machines you need to do that. How can we not produce the machine at home? That is the thing I don't understand. It's beyond my understanding. And like I just said, there is the science and technology department which is supposed to handle this for us. Instead, they are sleeping, or something is wrong somewhere. And if we can tap on our potential as a nation, the sky will be our limit. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a beautiful Tuesday. I have to call off the show at this point because the Abuja electricity crisis is still there. Like I just said, how can a nation survive in darkness? The language, the simple language is this: Nigeria is in darkness. So we are groping I mean, do you know what it is to grope in darkness? We are groping. We are trying to see, you know. But there's a light in front of us. We don't need to turn the light. Okay, this is in the studio now. The light is fighting me. I can't see beyond it because the light is fighting me. We need to turn the light on the nation so that we can see. The light is shining on very few people, and that is bad. We need to turn the light on the nation, and Nigeria will grow, and we'll all be successful. For you people, the rich, I want to say this, and I say it again and again, and I cannot stop saying it. It is in your interest if the poor man have something to eat, because if he doesn't, you are in trouble with all you have, and that's what you see now in Nigeria. You might be able to afford the security men, or you might be able to build that house that is taking you up there, but Oga, you are not moving freely. Madam, you are not free. Even it's only in Nigeria where a man of God have security men, policemen guiding them. What are you doing with the policeman if you're a man of God? Well, that is a topic for another day. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Daddy Prince, and this is Wake Up Nigeria. We'll be here tomorrow again. Like as usual, please stay out of trouble. Be careful. Love Nigeria. Nigeria is the asset you have. This was not a mistake that you were born in Nigeria. It's not okay to say, I don't care about it, because that's going to come back and fight you tomorrow. Don't pray. Act. Do not pray. Act. Because Nigeria, God has given it to us. I love what the part of the Bible, why am I here? To inherit the earth. You have been born to inherit Nigeria. In the course of inheriting Nigeria, you need to tap on the potential which Nigeria has to offer. And it's what we've been analyzing. I will continue to analyze on this show. Until tomorrow, when we're back again to look at what is possible in Nigeria, what we all can do to make Nigeria beneficial to us. Nigeria need us. We need Nigeria the most. Stay out of trouble. Until tomorrow, I'll say goodbye for now.